Communication is the key to all human relationships, so of course it isn't easy. The most challenging is communicating with someone who is your communication opposite. Power Phrases author Meryl Runion is back today with some advice we could all use. Isn't that the truth? What's so tough about this?
Well, communication opposites are people who are completely different from us, so it's like they speak a different language. You know, it's like they say black and we say white.
Yeah. So how do we start with this? What's your first point that you want to let us know?
Well, the first thing is that we don't want to judge. So, for example, I have someone in my life who tends to exaggerate. I'm more literal, and so to me it seems like she ought to be more accurate. I've got to back off of that judgment.
Don't judge because their style isn't wrong. It's just different from ours. Okay? Like that's good for life, isn't it? Not to judge?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. You know, some people are personal, some people are impersonal, and it's a style. So don't judge. But step number 2 is you keep track of what is it that they do. When they say things that bother you, actually write it down. Write it down. Okay, she said that gasoline costs more than water. Or she said that water costs more than gasoline. That's irritating. That's an exaggeration. I'm going to write that one down. Okay. Keep track. Then you can take a look at it and ask, could it be that they are my communication opposite? So maybe they're more task-oriented when I'm more personal. Maybe they're more literal when I'm being figurative. Write it down and ask that question.
That's good, and it teaches you something about yourself, definitely.
Oh, it does. Yeah. And the next step teaches you a lot about yourself, because the next step is to record your reaction, because it's as much about how you react to what they say and to what they do as it is about how you about what they're saying. You know, if you're taking it personally because they're being brief and abrupt, you know, if you take it personally, well, that's where you're ready to make the change. So actually take your list, go to your list and ask yourself, okay, how can I communicate with this person in a different way next time?
But that's all about style, is that what you mean by that?
That's all about style, because if you find, because many times we take offense, we take personally what really is just someone else's style. You know, for example, someone in my life who exaggerates says, you've been on the computer all day long. You don't know how to take a vacation. Well, I had just gotten on the computer. But that's her style. She exaggerates everything. But when she said that about me, I started to take it personally until I realized that's not about me. It's about her. It's her style.
Well, then let's go to your point about writing an alternative response. What was your response to her when she said, you've been on the computer all day?
Well, my first response, my knee-jerk response, was to defend myself.
Haven't.
Yeah, because I hadn't. But I realized, okay, I don't need to do that. There's no reason to argue. I said, well, I'm enjoying being on the computer. I stayed on the computer another 2 hours. She didn't care, because she didn't mean it literally. I learned to stop taking her literally because she's not speaking literally.
So what is your response then? If you want to try to communicate better with her, what's your alternative response?
Well, an alternative response, and that just might be to find out, well, I don't really need to argue with her. There's no reason. I will respond to her in the way that she intends. When she complains that water costs more than gasoline these days, she knows water doesn't cost more than gasoline, so why did I need to correct her? I used to correct her. It was very irritating. Didn't help our friendship. I enjoy her now.
Isn't that interesting? How you can come to terms with somebody like that and actually have a good relationship, even though you speak differently.
Oh, you
communicate differently.
You can. You just find out that's them being them, and appreciating people for who they are. And how
all these great tips and more at SpeakStrong.com.
That's right.
And it's a very nice website that has a lot of communication advice.
Very practical information. It's all about making communication work.
Meryl, thank you so much. It's always wonderful to see you. You'll be back, what, in another couple years?
Oh, I hope it's sooner than that.
Me too.
I'm looking for next month, maybe.
All right, good. Well,